This is first podcast doing this with Iris. She's an aspiring actress and she's trained at the Meisner Center. She's from the Bay Area and she wants to produce her own content. Let me start by asking you, what kind of inspired you to suddenly say, I want to make my own movies?
I just noticed that a lot of actors and actresses that I admire produce their own material because I noticed, and also that's where they show their best work, I
Right.
believe. I got done finished watching I, Tanya.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, and also I watched Proud Mary with Taraji P. Henson, and they both produced those movies and they both did an amazing job. So,
One of my favorite shows is Empire. I love that show. Empire is like one of my faves right
yeah.
now.
So
She's awesome.
yeah, she's awesome. So I just wanted to, you know, potentially maybe produce my own stuff. So
Which is a great idea, especially now. I think now's the best time to do that because to give you a little background on my filmmaking and where it started, I used to put together because I was good with graphics and drawing and stuff like that and computers and animation wasn't as easy to do as it is now on computers, but I kind of cobbled together some animated shorts. I also helped my friend Chris Miller make a lot of his horror films, which horror films are great because they're low budget and it's the only genre where you don't need a named person, but it can still get pretty far, even theatrically released, because it's really about the horror, the scaring, the whole experience. But that's the best way to go. And back then, we didn't have there weren't Netflix or Hulu and Crackle. They weren't really as even in a player or a factor at that point, like they are now. A lot of actors are going to these online streaming outlets because a lot of passion projects that actors have that they've been wanting to make, they can't. They haven't been greenlit by Hollywood. These other streaming, technology-based entertainment platforms are more than happy to, have that go on. I think Drew Barrymore has the Santa Clarita Diet, right?
yeah,
Luke Cage, there's the Santa Clarita Diet. There's a lot of Fuller House. There's nostalgia shows coming back. There's a lot of stuff that people want to see that's just not being greenlit by Hollywood. But because we live in the digital age, there's so many opportunities, and because technology makes filmmaking so easy. I mean, I remember shooting stuff on literally Super 8. I did one movie called Iron Horse. There was a movie I shot it on Super 8 black and white film, and I acted in it, and it was blown up to 16, I believe. And that was the option because HD wasn't that HD back then. It wasn't that. It's not like now where they're pretty much you have the Red and all these different cameras, the Phantom. They're almost pretty much as good as film. Not quite, but it's pretty darn close. It's pretty close, and I think technology has really come a long way to the point where I believe isn't there a movie Tangerine that was shot on the iPhone?
yeah. The Tangerine was on an iPhone 4S.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people loved it, and it was nominated and all of that. So
Yeah, so I mean, if an iPhone, a movie shot on the iPhone can be nominated, there's no excuse in today's age. If you're an actor and you have a story to tell, or you want to create a vehicle or a platform where you can display your acting, there's no reason. If you really want to make a movie, at the very least, you could just shoot your own short film and upload it to YouTube. That's what a lot of actors do. They shoot their own stuff and then they do a lot of times things that they can't even get the license to. It's like, I want to do a remake of The Warriors, or I want to do a Star Wars movie about Raven, or whatever. It's like you can do whatever you want in this age, with YouTube, which I think is actually, if you just want to showcase it, that's one thing. But in terms of making a living out of it, I think there are going to be some new platforms that take over YouTube because of YouTube's policies. Because of what they're going on with YouTube's policies, it's kind of discouraged people from full time creating on that platform because it's hard to break in if you're new or small. It's kind of like for the people who are grandfathered in, and even for those people, unless they're huge, like PewDiePie or all these different uh, Smosh or whatever. But I think there's new ones like Facebook Watch, and there's some other companies that might be more user friendly in terms of valuing the work and the creative content that people put together in order to make the platforms come to life. It's for their benefit that they encourage content creators to come to their platform. And with like blockchain technology, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to come up with like a Steam it, but like a YouTube kind of thing, but for cryptocurrency or on a blockchain. Just with everything going on with blockchain technology, it's making things more about the we economy and less about the me economy. So, going back to that, the overall theme is it's a great time to be alive. It's probably the best time to be independent, creative, a creative of any kind because of the internet, because of digital technology. You can literally make any film you want. Um, for you, I would recommend doing something just because it's your first one. Just doing something that's simple and easy and entertaining. A lot of us have. I mentioned passion projects earlier. A lot of us have the passion projects, but I always say to save that for the third thing that you produce, the third thing that you make, because the first time you produce, or no matter what, the first time you make a movie or a short film or whatever, you're going to learn things, you're going to make mistakes. It's your first time. It's just going to happen, and it's okay. It's just the key with that is just get through the process and make the best film that you can. Don't get hung up on it being perfect the first one, because everybody, looks back on their first thing that they did and they're like, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that if I had to do it over again. But the key thing is just keep doing it, because the more times you do it, it's going to get closer and closer, better and better to, professional quality, sellable quality where you can distribute it. But you never know. You might try your first thing and it might become a hit. But I would recommend making a passion project that you really want to be like really perfect for like project number 3. And the first one being something that's, it speaks to your audience. It speaks to the people who would be interested in the kind of projects and content you want to create. Um, you mentioned earlier actors that produce their own content because it's the characters that they want to play, or where it shows off their acting. What are your thoughts on the kind of content you want to create or the kind of films that you want to make?
Well, I really do like films like I, Tanya, and
Yeah.
that's probably right up my alley. I love La La Land. I love, even though that's more like, technical, or I guess like a
Yeah.
visual effect. And then,
But it's got a lot of heart.
yeah, heart.
It's very artsy. It's very heartfelt. It seems to have like almost like a theater esque quality to it, even though it takes place in L.A.
Yeah.
It's a yeah, it's a really good movie. Those are like quality independent films that people really enjoy because it's just about the art. It's just about the film. It's not about the bottom line. And if you definitely want to make those kind of films, independent is the way to go if you want to make, out of the box content. Because when it comes to Hollywood, a lot of it is, although it's updating, it's becoming more diverse. They're taking more risk. It's still at the rate at which people in the world and entertainment is changing. It's just not fast enough. So if you want to make something that's cutting edge or very risque in terms of the type of risk or the type of risks that you take because of the content, it's just a risk, and that's what independent filmmaking is, because no, a lot of times people are getting paid little to nothing, and it's mostly on a hope that it's going to do well. So, I would recommend like making it pretty solid if you're going to try to get people to work for free, fairly solid, so it's something that they can use on their reel for whatever it is they're doing. And a lot of times you're going to have to start out like just using whoever you can, who's accessible, who's free, as long as they're competent and, somewhat easy to work with, because that's a key thing. And, that's you just that's how you start. You got to start small, If you need a crew, if you haven't figured out an idea, maybe there's a way where it's mostly monologues or something, or you found a way where it's entertaining or it's you and visual effects or whatever, but something that's doable. I remember, as I mentioned before, used to help my old filmmaking friend back in the day with his horror films. One thing that we would always do is kind of reverse engineer the movie, and we would kind of look around at places or locations that we could use as sets, what we had access to, and then try to and what kind of equipment and props we had, and then try to make a film around that. You know, or
That's cool.
and at the very least, if you don't have resources, you don't have a location, you have skills. Everybody has like one skill or one hobby or one thing that they're good at. Everybody pursuing acting. It's not like they're just actors and they've never done anything else. Everybody has at least a couple things that they're fairly good at or are very interested in and have an interest in. And I think adding that into the film gives people a reason to continue to watch. It gives you motivation and a reason to continue to make the film because it's interesting. It's something you're passionate about. I would start with short content first, like a short form content, as in like a short on that you either put on YouTube or the internet, a short film you put somewhere, but something that has not doesn't take too long so you can see what the process from beginning to end. Who knows, you might have something you could use in film festivals or something you can look back on and go, okay, now I'm ready to do a feature length film. But if you made a short film about something that you're skilled at or passionate about, and then you add your acting scenes in there, you can go from there. And you know, I would recommend at first just starting small, and then as you get bigger, you can do things where they're under SAG contract and you can get real actors. If you have a good enough script and it's union, you can often get actors that you don't think that would do any role for a certain amount of pay. If the script is good, a lot of times actors will take a huge pay cut just to be a part of a script they feel is really, really good because in just the ecosystem that an actor lives in, especially a top-notch actor, they get a lot of big budget. They got a lot of very commercial, very yes, as you could say, money movies where there's a lot of money involved and it's very important. But for the to satisfy the soul and the artistic need to create and do things, of artistic nature and to use really the craft, a lot of times they have to look outside the business realm of the entertainment, which is Hollywood, and go more the independent film. And you never know when the next American Beauty, when the next La La Land is going to come, you know, somebody's way. So they're always, if you have a really, really solid script, you can get them to take a risk, and that's kind of a big thing that I would suggest. That's the one thing you can control. We can't control things in Hollywood, whether when you get funding, when you get green light, when you get hired for a job, the casting and the directors they pick, everybody, all the decisions are made, executively, essentially, and the creative and the performers and the working class people are basically, at the mercy of executive decisions. So you can't control a lot. The only thing you can control is what you're doing, what you do with your time. And if you're working constantly on a script, on some script, for every actor, I recommend that they have at least one script that they're working on. So if it comes to it, it's like you can write your own ticket, you can create your own vehicle, and if you get in the position where it's like, well, do you have any ideas? Do you have something? Well, it happens I have this script that I've been working on for a couple of years or whatever. It's like you got to have your side thing as an actor. Can't just have your main hustle and then your pay the bills hustle. You have to have like your main hustle, side hustle, pay the bills hustle. So it's like, like I said, a lot of things in Hollywood for the actor, it's not under the actor's control. It's that when he gets hired. So the only thing you can control is where you spend your time. Are you writing a script? Are you creating your own vehicle? Not just asking people for jobs. You create your own jobs. And that's what a lot of people are doing. I think that's going to be more popular in the coming years as more streaming platforms like Hulu and Netflix and Crackle and ways to share content and monetize it, especially with blockchain technology. It's revolutionizing everything. The world is changing right now. And in 2018, I feel like we're right. We're going to see a lot of change start to happen and become more popular and more evident. So, start now.
I'm just flowing and not knowing where everything's going. My mind's on the grind and my mind's just going.